Welcome to Blue Tinted Glasses, the home of Leicester City talk on YouTube. Fan debates, live watch-alongs, post-match reactions, and all the Foxes banter you could ask for. Subscribe now and see the game through Blue Tinted Glasses.
Well then, Mahrez has made something of that. It's Mahrez! 2-0 to Leicester City!
Next to it, Anthony Khannouss finds Wood. Wood should score. Wood, Vestergaard, yes! Here comes Leicester again with Heskey and Ibbett. Oh, this is incredible. Got Jamie Vardy with him. Jamie Vardy sets off. Jamie Vardy!
Blue Tinted Glasses, the home of Leicester City talk on YouTube.
Whew. Made hard work of that. That was like digesting a ghost chili pepper live on stream, but somehow we've done it. The game has finished 2-1. Welcome one and all to the first instant match reaction from Blue Tinted Glasses for the new championship season. And we've kicked off with a win, but boy, bringing up some comments here. Reality check indeed. I am joined by my favorite friend from Denmark. It is, of course, Duck Quack Quack. I'm really interested to see what you've got to say, Duck. We've got the match ratings. If you haven't already, just go to bluetintedglasses.com and you will be able to put your match ratings. You can still update it as you do right now, but they are coming in right now, the data. Just before I get your comment, Andreas, just give me we'll go through the information later. Just give me raw and unfiltered. What are you feeling right now?
I think that's a game that top teams win when things get difficult, right? I said it's a sign of a team that will be at the right front end of the table if you can win a game like this when you're horrible. We played a bad first half, but we dug in, despite them at moments in the second half having 11 men in the box. We came back, and even if it was scrappy, it wasn't a pretty game. We got the 3 points. And I mean, I don't want to say it's a reality check. I think it's more of a, we need to get back to the fact that we won't be playing as beautifully and as one-on-one with our man as Fiorentina were willing to do against us, right? Because teams will be playing on the back foot. They'll be playing on the break. They'll be playing for these set pieces. So I think many games will look like this, where it does get a bit gritty. But good teams, the best teams on their bad days still win. And I think that's what we did today.
Absolutely. I got to say, Doug, we've got to say, Sheffield Wednesday.
Fair play to them.
I wasn't a fan of their time wasting, but I completely understand it. I think if I was the manager, I would be doing exactly the same thing myself. Yeah, big props to Sheffield, as Nick D says. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to come with a makeshift team, you saw them going down with injuries. Some of them might have been fake, but some were legit. They played really well. When we do the tactical analysis, Duck and I, on Tuesday, there'll be a lot to talk about. We made tough going of that, but we did, in the end, get through. The lineup, what did you make of that as quickly? I mean, obviously, we know what the changes are, but you got James Bond-looking Marty there. What did you make of his lineup that he picked at this particular game?
I liked it. I thought every player in there deserved another chance and to stick with the same lineup. I think a bit harsh on Charlie to not get any minutes at all today. But obviously, I do think because we were in the lead, we took him out for a strike, which I do think also makes a lot of sense. But yeah, Justin, I think he is one of our better right or left backs. So doesn't surprise me, but a bit harsh on Charlie. But otherwise, I was very happy because I did think every other player with their performance against Fiorentina, before hindsight came into it, deserved to start. Like, I wasn't mad at Skipp starting. When I saw him on the pitch and how he played, I'm very happy he took him off. But I thought with how he played against Fiorentina, he did deserve to keep the spot. So I wasn't mad at it at the time. But in hindsight, obviously, I would have liked to see someone else.
Yeah, I think when we get to him later on, but right, I think you've absolutely called it. That was the difference in this game for me. Make of him what you want, but Harry Winks changed the game, and Skipp really was terrible in that position. You can see him here as this kind of 8 combination between a 6 and an 8 didn't really work. And Ben, totally agree with you, mate. Skipp and Okoli honking today, and I'm sure the match ratings will show that. This is how Sheffield Wednesday lined up. You could see they went for a 5-3-2. They defended very deep at times, but did a good job. Max Lowe, who's been linked to us, is playing. Pierce Charles, very impressive. You got to say, I'm sure we'll give him a special shout out. Nathaniel Chalobah, fair play, good goal from him. Barry Bannon, of course, got sent off. Do you know what, though? I kind of feel like the game was over even at 1-1. That might sound arrogant to say, but I just think that they were too tired. We'll get to it. But let's start going through the ratings. But Yes, let's look at the stats because I think there were some interesting things that have come up here. So as Daz Mason says here, 28 shots, 13 on target, 2.42 expected. That's actually the most shots this weekend of any team. So even though we made hard work of it, I think if you go and look at that game again, look at that, 6 big chances we made in the end. We actually should have scored a lot more than we did. Now, of course, the card absolutely changed the game. Were those stats looking like that before there were 10 men? Absolutely not. But you can only do that. 28 shots.
We were dominant in the second half, even before the red card, I will say. I still feel like we would have won it, maybe with 1.8 or something XG. But yeah, I still think we had a clear upper hand. Winks, man, absolutely changing the game. He did very well in that 8 role.
Yeah, I tell you what, Peter Walker, I'm going to come back to your comment later when we talk about Skipp because that's a very, very interesting take, and I don't think anyone would disagree with you there. Yeah, great to have the winner, and I get his reaction up being booed, but wow, it's just a knob and needs to go. We probably much agree. Yeah, but just taking a look at those stats, like I say, 28 shots is I mean, remember when West Ham had 30 shots against us, right? So 75% possession. And do you know what? I would say this. I think if Enzo was in charge and we had 75% possession, we would not have had 28 shots and we would not have had 6 big chances. But in this game that we did. Now, I'm not going to say that it's perfect. We definitely saw the good and the bad, I think, from Marty's team today, but something to take into account. But all right, guys, let's get into it. If you haven't put your ratings already, you can get them in, but they're being updated and we're going to go through them one by one. So let's start. It's been a while since we did this. The good old match ratings. Jakub Stolarczyk, Duck, talk to me. What did you make of Jakub's performance today?
A 6 or 7. I thought he had that very good save where he just barely got his fingers on it. There was one time where I got very frustrated when he got played back to him and he put it out for a throw-in when he had seen all game, just after we got 2-1 up, he had seen all game, they will make it a threat, right? He should have just kicked it long. But outside that, I don't think he did much wrong. Couldn't have done anything for the goal, a deflection, and saved the one other massive chance they had. Felt safe when he had the ball at his feet, except for that one time. So, I mean, yeah, he had a good game for me. Nothing spectacular to do. So, I think I gave him a 7.
Yeah, I think you had that good save. You're right at the end where he kicked it short and they had that throw. And I was like, oh, no, Leicester, don't do this to me. But in the end, they're all right. So, Jakub, 6.3 he got. Fair enough.
Didn't have too much to do as well, right? So, couldn't deserve the 8s or the 9s or the 10s. Yeah.
Yeah, totally agree. All right, let's get on then. Oh, it's still was always Duck's favorite. It's Luke Thomas. So he got the left back role. Firstly, let's talk about. We talked about there in the lineup. Did it surprise you that he played? Because just to put it out there, Duck, like the idea of having a left-footed player on the left-hand side makes sense. But how many times did we really see a cross-field diagonal? I don't think I saw it once in the game. Right?
I think I saw it once, to be honest. But like. He was just a bit anonymous. Didn't do too much wrong. Got nutmegged for the goal. That was a bit embarrassing. I think I gave him a 4 or 5. Like, he's just a bit invisible, right? Like, you can't be being... When you have this much of the ball that you feel so invisible, I don't think that's good because I saw Justin a lot more get involved in the attacking play. And, I mean, yeah, it was just a very mediocre performance. It's one of the... Yeah, I think Resist says, well, he was all right.
Yeah.
5.
Yeah, interesting. Kinnan's a bang average would prefer Christensen, but I mean, it's interesting because I agree with you what you're saying about Justin. Now, the interesting thing is they took off James Justin, they kept Luke Thomas on, but he did have one good moment in the first half where he picked the ball. You called it on the live stream. He inverted into the number 8 position. Thomas picks up the ball. This was early on. And he had a decent shot and he worked the keeper. That was good, right? But you want to see more of that. And he doesn't really do it much. So
I'd love to see Casey try it, man. I'd love to see Casey try that role because he doesn't have as much to do offensively as the right back, but he does make these runs. He has the pace and drive, Casey, and physicality to be a decent defender, right? Has played left wing back at AFC Wimbledon. And imagine him running in that. He can shoot pretty hard because I'm not expecting Thomas to score from there. But yeah, that was also pretty good. Bang average game overall, though. Didn't notice him much for either good things or bad things.
He got a 6.13. Look at that.
Nice, but okay.
Yeah. I'll be interested to see, put it this way, come the end of the season, who our left back is, because I'm not sure. I think it'd be Thomas or Christensen, actually, would be my prediction. It could
I hope it's a Luco.
Yeah. Or it could be this man, but he played at right back. So we just talked about him. James Justin went off in the end. He was the captain, believe it or not. Started the match as captain. What did you make of Captain Justin today?
Had a stinker in the first half, to be honest. I thought he was way too heavy on the touches when he tried to do those combinations with Fatawu and often let him down. Yeah, technically, I needed more from him today. I thought the second half he picked up the pace and looked all right, but I think I gave him a 3 or 4 because that first half was shocking. Yeah.
Fair enough. What did he get? Got a 5.7.
That's
So I'm not surprised.
very kind. I'm more surprised at that than I am with Thomas because I noticed Justin way more, but for worse things.
Yeah. Like Thomas was just like there, wasn't he? He didn't.
Yeah,
really feel
Thomas
like
had a few. Oh, that was a pretty good moment, that run. But he also had a few. You could have done better there moments, like the goal, right, where it just went through his feet and he got nutmegged. It was like you could have done better there. Like, yeah.
I think to be fair, right, Justin, he missed last week. So how much of a knock he was carrying, I don't know. Did that affect him? But it was
he was not been very sharp, right? Didn't play too much in the final few weeks of preseason, so
yeah. But he was unusually off his game when he's normally pretty solid. All right, guys, we've already seen a lot of comments. So we've been asking for him to start for fairly obvious reasons, but I've got to say, I was pretty disappointed with this man. Okoli, talk to me, Doug. What did you make of Caleb Okoli?
I'd give him a 4, I think. His passing, he shouldn't have that responsibility, except for those small ones. I really want to see Ben Nelson get some minutes because I thought Vestergaard played a good game. I'll say that. I do still think the fact that Ben Nelson's the future, right? So I'd like to see him more. Maybe next game you try Nelson and Vestergaard. We'll see. I think Caleb Okoli will grow into the season. His physicality and pace we saw a few times be really tricky, but yeah, not a great game from him, especially compared to the Fiorentina. I'll give him a 4, but I'd be open to see him starting again next week.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I'm saying slow on Okoli is.
Yeah, I think that's kind of generous. Again, just going to say, Foss Hub, get on it, mate. Get these agent referrals. Get Milan to buy him for 21 million, as you would say. But look, I think to be fair, look, this was said to come from ABD Zing. He says he needs a run of games. You know, he's still been in and out of the team. And upward fanatics, I still think Okoli should start next week. But honestly, he was awful today. I would probably agree with that. I think to be fair, there was once or twice where when the ball went over the top and he had to rely on his pace to get back, he did all right. But that first goal comes from a mistake. He just dwells on the ball. Like, is he trying to control it or clear it? He was sort of stopped between it. No, this is joking aside. Milan have signed someone else who will probably stay. That said, I think he'll probably improve as the season goes on. But you've got to say that the guy who came on in his place, well, Faes, probably did better than he did. And
last time Caleb has had a serious run of games, right? Like that's before we signed him. So give him some time. I think his physical and pace package is very much needed in this defense. And he'll probably score a few goals with headers too, just like this guy did today. Or not with the headers.
Yeah, well, let's talk about him then. So Yannick Vestergaard, obviously absolutely derided last season. He really struggled in the Premier League. But we've got to remember, Yannick Vestergaard, the last time that we were in the Championship, he was in the team of the season, and he was deservedly in the team of the season. He was exceptional on the ball and had a lot of quality about him. And he's popped up today with what a good finish that was like. I don't know if you saw that goal again, but he takes it with his left foot, shimmers it onto his right, and then on the falling over, still manages to put a really good finish in. It's a good finish. I think defensively, he did win the most of his headers. I think the one thing he did badly, do you remember there was a set piece at the start of the game? Okoli knocks it back into Vestergaard, and I think he should have scored that. That did go down as a big chance.
He should have.
Yeah.
Very much.
But he did get a goal in the end. So what did you make of Yannick today?
I thought he was good overall. It's just the fact that I think people know he's not the future, and the pace does screw us a bit sometimes, right? I noticed a few times as well today. It did make them have some chances. So I thought he was great on the ball. Great goal as well. Should have had 2. I think I gave him like a 7 because I know this guy can do even better. But it's on the ball, in particular the line-breaking passes, right? The deep balls into like an Ayew or Skipp in the first half. That was one of the few glimpses we could create something from. So, yeah.
This is a fair point from Sean James. He says Yannick cannot start unless all 10 outfield players just camp out in front of the goal. But I think I don't know about saying they all just camp, because that's not just what Wednesday did. But I appreciate what you're saying. You're saying is like, you know, when it's a game like today, we had 75% possession. And when they have that much possession, having a centre-back that can actually put those quality through balls makes a big difference. And we saw in the second half, we were playing at times, just like Enzo Ball, in their third, right? Our entire team, including both centre-backs, was in their third. And Yannick was playing loads of good passes. You have a look at our extended highlights. He's putting a lot of quality through balls. So he did show his quality there. But I get what you're saying. You're saying if we were playing a team that had, like, look at Bristol City yesterday. I don't know if you saw that against Sheffield United, but they scored some wonderful counter-attacking goals, and that's not where you want Yannick. But yeah, just talk to me a bit more before I give the rating, because you saw the good and bad. I mean, someone said here that he should have pushed out for their goal, which I would probably agree with. But I think, you know, it wasn't really his fault that goal went in, right? It was a cock-up from some other players.
Yeah. we know he'll come good in some games. I think he's someone as well. Let's just say you're chasing a goal as well. Even if Ben Nelson and Okoli and Luke had to drop out due to his Carolina Reaper, fair enough. I do think there'll be like games. Let's say I still hope at a period of time if Okoli steps up to what we saw a bit in preseason and Ben Nelson gets around a game, because I want Ben Nelson in this team so badly. I think, let's say we are needing one more goal. The game's a bit of a stalemate. We'll sub on Yannick Vestergaard because he can play those passes that none of the other defenders can. Ben Nelson has been good passing in preseason, but Yannick Vestergaard is just a top class defender when it comes to playing out from the back. He's shit at a lot of other things, pace included.
I think Nelson will start midweek against Huddersfield. We'll be interested to see who actually
hopefully
starts.
He puts in a great performance, right?
Yeah. We'll see who starts next time around. Okay. All right. Here's an interesting one then. Right. So this is the comment that a few people have been bringing up, right? Soumare is good as a register, but man, he just keeps switching off. That was a comment from earlier. And also the comment here is like, Soumare is a 6. No one has ever thought those things before. He has played as a 6 when he was in Sevilla, but talk to him. What did you make of Booba today? Had an interesting game, I think.
But I didn't think he was the worst in the first half. He just has these very annoying tendencies about him, right? He's a good footballer. But when that moment when he won the ball back by pressing when they tried to get a chance and then didn't fulfill it, right? He pressed the ball, he lost it, then didn't sprint to get it, and the player almost got through it, had a one-on-one. Like, just run the extra 50 miles, not 50, like 10 meters and get the ball and then pass it to Jakub. And then, like, do your things 100%. He does it 80%. That's so annoying. I thought he was better in the second half. I thought he was okay in the first half. Like, he wasn't one of the worst. I think he'll have to play a part this season with the way it's looking with transfers. He's the most destroyer like we have. I would kind of actually like to see us bring in a destroyer who can do this number 6 role better than Soumare. But for now, he's the best we have at that, and I thought he did all right.
Yeah, I think this is fair. We always say this about Soumare. You had the perfect comment there about when he stopped after winning the ball back. You could see the technical quality he has, but that laziness. And I think it's a good comment from Peter. He says he needs Ndidi to clean up his mistakes. I think what we saw in the Championship is the example that Duck gave. If that was the Premier League, the opposition would have been through one-on-one and scored. But because it's the Championship, they just sort of dwelt on it that half a second. I think Okoli got him out of trouble, whereas normally that wouldn't happen. So we'll probably get away with it. But yeah, 5.3, I think that's probably fair for Booba. That face kind of sums it up. Does he really want to be here? Absolutely emotionless there. Okay, guys, this is the one. Give it to me all. I mean, this is the player that, so I said, just before I pass over to you, let me give some pretext to this one, right? So Oliver Skipp, we signed him for a lot of money. That's not his fault. And he was seen as like a long-term player, going to be in the team for a while. We thought he'd make an impact in the Premier League. He really, really struggled. So now in a Championship, the thinking always was, well, do you know what? He might not be quite ready for the Premier League, but he will probably be an integral part in the Championship. He's been in the Championship team in the season before. He's likely to be absolutely on fire. Well, today, Martin Cifuentes, he's actually played him in the number 8 position. Now, to be fair, he played in that position last week against Fiorentina, and we even did the analysis. We showed him.
Right. Like, he was pretty good.
He did all right. But today, I think as much as the fact that he was poor is the fact that the person who came on to replace him completely changed the game by showing what he needs to do. So I think the big thing, what we saw with Skipp is that, like, as a midfielder, you've got to be able to run the game right and connect back to front. And he just couldn't do it. But I don't want to put words in your mouth. I'm going to start putting these comments as you talk. But tell me about Oliver Skipp, Doug.
I'm so annoyed because I said I need him to come good. I didn't expect it, but I needed him to come good in the Championship. It's just one game. He could maybe work his way back into the team, but he shouldn't. If he retains his starting spot next weekend, I'd be shocked. I think there is a slight chance he will start on Wednesday because he's then in the B team, right? And then Wing starts on the weekend. But God, like, it's the fact we can't really sell him. We'll be selling him for a loss. No one will pay anywhere near the price for him. He needs to come good, and he just dropped a stinker today. An absolute stinker. You could really feel the difference when Winks was there. Man. And hopefully he finds closer to that Fiorentina form, but I'm grasping at straws, and I don't know. I think I gave him a 3, man. Ugh.
Yeah, and 3.5 is what he's got. He'll never come good. I mean, the issue is that we saw this here. So this midfield is supposed to have like a 6 who's just kind of like the regista, sets the tempo and is there defensively. Skipp isn't that player. Then you've got a 10 who's like creative, gets involved, is the guy expected to provide assists and occasionally get a goal. That was Bilal. We'll come to him in a bit later. Then you've got this 6 and 8 hybrid, right? At times they're supposed to be defensive work, but other times they got to get forward and support the attack. So basically he's played a role very similar to Wilfred Ndidi did for us last time we were in the Championship. But, you know, the thing with Skipp is he's the passes that he was putting astray were poor, not getting involved in the game. The game was bypassing him. And I think he's unfortunate. I'm not going to blame him for the goal, right? Because I think for the goal, he wasn't really to blame. I tell you what, he's probably going to have a lot to say. He's pulled himself in the toilet just to talk about this man.
Just to talk about Skipp. Let's hear it.
Oliver Skipp.
Guys, I was starting to panic a bit, man. I'm in a lot of pain right now, but I've just had some painkillers and 2 poos, so I'm feeling a little take my mind off. I'm seriously, I was laying down there panting like I was going into labor. Oliver Skipp, there's nothing we can do to recoup this money. It's too detrimental to have him in our side. He was by far the worst person on the pitch, and fair play to Marti Cifuentes for hauling him off at halftime and not waiting for the 60th minute.
Yeah, that's what changed the game, because if we would have waited, it would have been over, I think, there. And congratulations on your deathbed recovery there, Luke.
Thank you.
Okay, let's talk about Bilal. Do you know what? That could have been his last ever game for Leicester. But I do believe he actually got 2 assists in the game today. So he had a bit of a mixed game. Yeah, 2 assists he had today. What did you make of Bilal? Just because he's fresh on, I'll start with you, Luke. What did you make of Bilal or Khannouss?
A little disappointing, to be honest with you. Like, he wasn't bad. You know, I expected more of him. He did really well in that last part of that. He should nearly set himself up for his own goal. I wouldn't say he was bad. I expect a little bit more from him, particularly of how highly rated he is, and he's in a level below in the Championship. What would I give him if I were to rate him, to be honest with you? I think I'd have to say 7. Yeah, I think is fair. Maybe 7.5. I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
I'll just say that does kind of say something, right, for what we're expecting of him, because we know how talented he is, because he got 2 assists, almost scored. And I will still say he was one of the best players we had on the pitch when he wasn't at his own best. We're rating him like this because we know there is more to him. And I really hope if he stays with us this season, this is where he cracks the nut on getting the goal up, right? I don't know if he needs to just get 1 goal and get rolling, but the confidence in front of goal just isn't quite there, right? Like a Dewsbury Hall would have chipped that over the keeper and scored. Like, if he adds that to his game, he's a 50-60 million pound player. Hopefully he doesn't do that, actually. Stays with us until the end of August and then starts scoring a shit ton of goals. So at the very least have him for half the season, or can demand 50-60 million for him in winter. I thought it was good, but we know he can be a lot better than what he was today. This was his sharpest day, but he was still one of the better players on the pitch.
I agree with this. His leadership did impress me too. It looked like he was the player that really wanted us to win when we were behind.
Give him the fucking armband.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised about that. And so, do you know what the funny thing is I think overall I was disappointed with him, but I've looked at SofaScore and he's got one of the highest ratings and his stats are really good. And I'm sure when we do the analysis, it'll probably say the amount of key passes, etc., is put in. So I think you're right, Duck, to say that I think 6.7 is right. But the thing is, a 6.7 from Bilal El Khannouss in the Championship is still going to win you more games than it's not. And it's like, had he scored, that probably already goes up to 7.7. And then on another day, he'll play 8 or 9. But I think he's gone, but good performance. Well, he made a difference in the end, even if it wasn't necessarily the best performance. All right, let's move on to Steffi Mavididi. I'll let you start with this one, Duck. What did you make of Steffi? In the end, he was brought off for Monga, but he did have some moments. He almost scored a fantastic individual goal as well. What do you think?
Yeah, he was all right. He was okay. He had his moments. He's the Mavididi we know, right? When he's on it, he's really good. I did like some of his intensity. Like, there was the one time that was a poor pass and Thomas slipped, and then Mavididi still made up for it, right? And then he had that very good chance where he could have almost scored. It was a tight angle, and I think he made the most of it. I am intrigued though to see how his battle for that starting spot works out with Manga, because Manga, man, he looked very special when coming on the pitch. So Mavididi has to start showing a bit more than what we saw today. But again, it does kind of say he was better than most of our players, but I wasn't awfully impressed because I know Mavididi can be a lot better.
Yeah, he goes in and out of games too much, I think, for me. I noticed that with our attacks, we were going all the way down the right-hand side with Fatawu. And you're right, I think when Monga came on, all of a sudden, we actually did look like we had a threat on that left-hand side. But Mavididi wasn't totally useless. Luke, what did you make of Steffi?
I agree. I think you guys hit the nail on the head. I think we're compressing the ball down the pitch way too much on the right-hand side, so we had limited chances. I think that the difference between Monga and Mavididi is he's obviously faster. I'm not saying Mavididi's not fast, but he doesn't procrastinate. Sometimes you'll see, Mavididi, he'll do his step overs, he'll think and overthink it. And by that time, everyone's manned up their opposition and it's not as effective. And you'll see him dink that pass over. And we didn't see that really from him today. I think that one moment for me was brilliant. But other than that, I wouldn't say he's poor. I just feel like he was not given enough of the ball. I still think Monga and him should rotate a lot more. If I were to give him a score, I think 6.5 is reasonable. I don't think he was bad. I just think that he didn't get enough service.
You got a 6 bang on. That's interesting. But do you know what? I think you touched on an important point there where this season he has someone pushing him for his place, right? So I think because of that, that means when he has an off game, it's not going to matter so much. But it's funny. It's like this season, we're stronger in the wing positions, but we're weaker in the midfield positions, aren't we? So it's like we can never get the balance right. It's like one thing is strong, so you can see good and bad what's going to happen. All right. I'll go to you, Duck, for this one. His face, he looks really depressed there. Not the happy lad that I normally know, but how about Abdul Fatawu? Talk to me.
Special player, man. He was one of the ones who could look himself in the mirror after his first half performance where he wasn't incredible, but he was trying, still getting a few times, getting like a few good shots away as well. So, second half, he was 10 out of 10. He was genuinely unbeatable. Dribble past 3, man. Got the chance. And I think there was one time I noticed he hit the ball weirdly when he could have crossed it, right? But outside of that, he was, it's so good to have him back. And he's brimming with confidence. I think I gave him an 8 or a 9. That second half was incredible. The first half was good, but everyone else about him was just, shocking.
Luke, do you think it was a bit odd that he was taken off? Because he was cooking them, even if he's starting to get tired.
Did he, correct me, but he only played the second half of the preseason games, yeah? And he's coming back from an ACL injury where I agree that he was really effective and he probably could have gutted out the last 90 minutes, but I don't want to run him into the ground either after coming back from an ACL. I'm very appreciative that he's come back actually the exact same Fatawu that we remember. It's brilliant. He was one of my favorite players on the pitch, or man of the match for me. But yeah, I'm actually not against it, believe it or not. It's not like it's the first game of the season. We're not chasing, anything just right now that's important. Let's not risk him. Let's nurture and manage his minutes before he's playing out and out 90-minute games.
Absolutely.
I'll say just shortly, and the people saying end product lacking. This was one game. He had 2 shots, and yes, his end product could be better, but his end product is not really lacking. Look at what he did last season, right? He got 20 goal contributions. A winger is not going to get a goal contribution every single game. So yeah,
with that attitude, that's for sure.
It would be great.
Messi. I want him to do 2 goals.
If he in 2 more games time has had 7 more shots and not scored a goal or got an assist, I would agree we need to see some end product from him. But he had 2 shots this game, all a bit ambitious, 1 on target, just 1 above, and that's realistic.
Now he was, as you say, they were trebling up on him. He was causing them absolute chaos. It's understandable there. Now, just before we move on to the next player. And I'm going to give you fair warning for this. So we were sent an image from Luke saying, everyone's asking, why is Luke looking so bad? Why is he looking so bad? So this came through just a minute ago. I'm only going to put it on briefly. This was a picture that we got from Down Under. And then what was going on there? Well, that's what a ghost chili pepper does to you at the halfway through a game. So just wanted to share that. That won't be going in the analysis show. All right, let's move it on. I'll go to you. You can get in a little bit of comment there. So Jordan Ayew. I really don't like the fact that he was given a number 9 shirt, but he is our number 9 this season. I think he had a pretty poor first half, but overall, in the end, I don't think he was too bad. So what did you make of Jordan Ayew?
In the end, he was actually, that last 15 minutes, he put on a bit of a clinic, to be honest with you. I slagged him off a little bit that game with some of his finishing and his set piece taking, but to be honest with you, he was really, really good with his link-up play, taking the ball and driving it forward. I nearly had him as my man of the match, to be honest with you. But
that's what this guy said. He was our best player. This is an Upward Fanatic 14, yeah.
I would give him, I think an 8.5 is a real reasonable score, to be honest with you. That's where I'd put him. He's probably one of the second best players on the pitch. Yeah, good game from Ayew today.
Would you make, Duck, of our Lord Jordan Ayew?
I thought he was great in the second half. Again, the energy, like he wants to be here. He has 1 year left in his contract. He could literally just not care and run it down. But no, he's working. A bit too greedy on the shot sometimes. I feel like he had like that one option where he could have clearly passed it to Monka, who had a better angle. He got a decent shot off. And fair play to the keeper. Some of those saves might have looked a bit easy, but they were powerful shots. Maybe not the best placed, but very powerful. And they can be tough to save. So he's going to get a lot of goals this season. Just needs to not have that first half again because he was very shocking that half.
Yeah, it's amazing how much he was dropping deep to link up the play. So he was slow, but I think when you're got teams that are parking a bus so much like this, I mean, I think he had a very good game as well. And that's, especially interesting given that he was poor in that first half. So overall 7.1. That run we did that amazing cross was crazy because I thought he should have passed it like 3 or 4 times over. But in the end, he did used to play as a winger earlier on in his career. That's something we forget. So 10 years ago, he was more of a winger than a number 9. And Tyler, you say he should be playing as a shadow striker and a lone striker, but I feel like he is doing that in this system, right? He drops so deep at times. He's not really playing as a striker. He's definitely playing as a false 9. And was the slowest fast break I've ever seen. Okay, I'll come to you, Luke. You mentioned this, and I think this is an interesting one. This was Martí Cifuentes' first proper official competitive game in charge of Leicester. He definitely looked very nervous at half-time, shall we say. You can see him and Sheffield were very happy when Faes got that second goal. But we're obviously the lineup and the substitutions. So what did you make overall of Marty today?
I think we saw, and I did call it pre-match, so I don't want to jerk myself off too much, but I did say that I could understand why Vestergaard was put in the team, and fortunately for once I was proven right because his ball distribution was perfect. He scored the goal. I know it can be slow, but he was one of the better players in the pitch today. Unfortunately, Vestergaard for some people who want Nelson in. Now Cifuentes, definitely. To be fair, he's come in late. He's had limited preseason. The lineup you could question bits and pieces, but what's important is that anything that you disagreed with his starting 11, he's corrected, and he's corrected quickly. Enzo, even everyone knows how much I love Enzo. If you're a long-time regular of the show, I used to hate how Enzo would wait till 70, 80 minutes to make subs. He even does the same thing at Chelsea with the Arsenal players he has there. He made the correct call, taking Skipp off straight away at halftime. He's hauled him off, perfect. And then you've seen the chemistry, as I mentioned, between Winks and Vestergaard. And then all the other subs as well, I completely agree with. It looked like he was actually going to take McAteer, put him on first, and he saw Mavididi was struggling, and he's hauled him off actually and put Monger on and changed his mind. So he's reactive. He's still learning on the job. Obviously, it's going to take him 6 to 7 weeks, I would imagine, to really gel in and get comfortable with his 11. For me, Cifuentes, I will give him an 8 today. I think he made the right subs at the right time.
Yeah, I thought he did great today. I understood the starting lineup completely. A bit surprised that Hamza wasn't starting, but again, just think back to before the game started. Everyone who was starting, except for Justin, had a good game against Fiorentina where we won comfortably 2-0. So of course they're going to run it back. I understand the thought process. He recognizes that 45 minutes in, this wasn't going to work. Instantly changed one thing. Made a few other changes, and changed the tactics as well to how we wanted to do. Adapted when we were goal behind, got on another striker instead of just playing another defender. And we seemed eager to get that goal. I like that. So I gave Martin an 8 or 9. You get a few points deducted from, maybe not changing things in the first half to figure that out, but fair play. You realized that it was wrong, made a change at 45 and got it right. So fair enough.
Yeah, he did the few things that manager can do. Some people have mentioned that the second set of subs did break the flow of the game. I'll ask you that comment in a moment. But I mean, this is an interesting and fair comment. This is Jack Whitman. Says, what happened to the pace and aggression our new man promised? First half awful, second best every tackle. And that is 100% true for the first half. We were getting out-pressed by Sheffield Wednesday. But second half, that definitely wasn't the case. And of course, them going down to 10 men obviously changed the game, but it was 1-1 at that time. And I personally think we still would have won it, even if it was 11 versus 11. And I think that was one of the things we got a bit better. So I'll come to you on this, Doug. What do you make of that, right? Because it is true. If you had to compare this game to Fiorentina, we did the analysis together midweek. And midweek, I was just showing you time after time after time of pressing, and us winning the ball back. And that's what led to us looking good. And that was missing, but it got a bit better towards the end. So what did you make of this comment?
I think Cifuentes has to adapt to being a top team. I think maybe was a bit shocked that when we got into this game, he wanted to create space for his wingers, and he knew how to do that with QBR when they were on the break and had their one-on-ones. But all of a sudden, you find yourself and your winger being 1-on-3. So how do you adapt to that, right? He's not been used to being the big dog in any league he's managed in. And I think some of this, where's this aggressive football he promised us, it was there for 45 minutes today. Like in the second half, as soon as we came in, we wanted it more. He had adapted. He had made the changes. He is going to have to take some time for this. And there are going to be moments when teams just sit so deep and other managers do everything they can to suck out the intensity and the action.
Like this.
Exactly. As Elm says, Marty can do everything he wants to speed up the game. But if the opposing team, 11 men, does everything they can, sit 11 men in the box, kick it away, time waste as much as possible, it will be hard to have that intensity. Like, Marty can't instantly himself decide how the game will play. There are going to be many games like this where we have to work and work and work. And as long as you see the passion and the right changes and the right lineup, I won't be complaining about Marty as long as our team is trying to be aggressive and fun to watch. So I understand. I think people need to expect us not to.
In the end, he's given the 7.5. That's pretty generous from I think the blue tinted glasses family. That's quite a promising start, I would say. That's certainly better than previous managers.
I think it is the aggressive changes, right? It's something we haven't seen in a while. That really gives a lot of fair enough. You got it wrong. You admitted your mistake and got it right. Yeah,
exactly, absolutely. All right, well, let's move on then to the ref. Now, I think one thing we have to get used to again is that refereeing standards in the Championship are questionable at best. Of course, you don't get VAR, so we probably would have had our goal ruled offside there. Although maybe not. It's tough it's tough to say, actually. It could have gone because it wasn't directly interfering with play. I've seen them given, though, put it that way, both ways. But, yeah, I've got to say, I mean, I don't think he was bad overall, but like the thing that he got wrong is that Sheffield Wednesday, and it's understandable that they were time wasting. And listen, I'm going to say again that for me, the man of the match was Sheffield Wednesday as a whole. Their fans, their team, even their manager did really well because it's so difficult to manage in that circumstance. But he did give 9 minutes in the end of the second half. But that first half, I think he only gave 4. And they were doing everything they could to break down the flow. There was that point where you go, oh, look, it looks like Pierce Charles isn't going to be able to continue. Bullshit. You know exactly what they were doing, right? And you don't blame them. It's the dark arts. But that's my comment. I'll start with you, Luke. What do you think of the referee today?
The referee was poor. The linesman was poor. How no one called that handball is ridiculous. The ref was probably in the left-hand side, but come on, man. He fucking basketballed the ball in front of him. That is someone mentioned in the stream earlier with Sunday League shit. It took him a long time to book someone as well. And there was a lot of dodgy fouling happening, particularly on Fatawu. It says something that when you win a game, you're complaining about the referee, that obviously something wasn't right. It's not like we're sitting here sour grapes, and I'm well aware that they were depleted down to 10 men. Yeah. Sheffield Wednesday have had a pre-season. Credit to them, as you just mentioned, mate. A lot of respect for their fans and their players for showing up. But yeah, the referee was poor today, and it did remind me of how poor the Championship standard is. I will say this, though. I'm going to contradict myself here before I pass it over. I do like how there's like a lot more physicality in the Championship, and refs do let a lot more go. I like seeing that. I hate seeing us flopping and rolling around on the ground shit in the Premier League. Get up, you fucking bitch. But yeah, he was support today.
Yeah, I thought he did all right. Missed that handball, but that can happen without VAR. But that was going to be given had that been VAR in the first half, where the shot from Bilal, I think, could have been on target had it not been blocked by a hand coming into the box. That second handball, though, is someone where, I mean, I don't know the law. I think it probably should just be a yellow, right? But the intention there, like, that was pissing me off. Like, it's unfortunate when there's handballs in the area when a shot comes in and tries to block and accidentally it hits your elbow. But when you're a professional football player playing against a 16-year-old, and because he's about to beat you in a 1v1, you flip out your hand to whip the ball away. Like that was crazy. That should be a red card in my view. Because when you so clearly intentionally handball, you should be sent off, but I don't know if that's the rules. Incredible he missed that, though. And I think at 5.7, I do think that's all right. He had a few misses, but it was the only one egregious one to me was that handball that was, an intentional one where, like, the fact that he didn't get carded is disgusting.
Yeah, I also want to say that even if we'd have ended up drawing this game or even losing, I couldn't blame it on the ref, even if he was not controlling the stoppages too well. That wasn't, that much done. So anyway, we'll move on. Okay, we're going to move on now to the subs. So this is what we're complimenting Marcy for. He also made all 5 subs. Something that used to piss me off with Enzo, one of the few things is he never really made 5 subs. I think there's no excuse in the modern game not to do it, just to keep the energy levels going and give those young players minutes. And some of these subs really had a huge impact, both positive and negative. So let's talk about the forgotten man. He misses Enzo. This might have been his last game as well. He's been linked to Valencia. He's been linked with Fiorentina. He's been linked with Brentford. Might have seen him, but Harry Winks, just because he is blue tinted glasses, number one Harry Winks defender. I've got to go to you, Luke. Talk to me about Harry Winks.
Harry Winks was nearly if he had to play the whole game, he could have possibly, with the way he was playing, been my man of the match. He's reminded me of why he was so important to this team. You can say what you want to say about him in the Premier League. You could argue that in a better system that suits him, he could have done a job in the Premier League, which I still stand by the way. I know Manny disagrees, but I will fight him tooth and nail over that. But look, going forward, I would love to see him and Ricardo Pereira, like we did last time, playing together. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to see that due to his injury record with Pereira. And Harry Winks, as you mentioned, is most likely on the move. He was brilliant today in that second half, completely changed the game, made Vestergaard feel more relaxed, he more relaxed, and then the whole team morale just picked up alongside that as well. For me, I don't know what you want to score him because he didn't play a full game, but if I'm just judging on a performance, if it was a full game the way he played, I'd be giving him an 8 easy.
He could have gotten a 9.
Like, yeah, if you change the game, even if you're on for 10 minutes, if you change the game,
What did he do wrong this game? Like
nothing.
What did Winks like? I can't think of one mistake, and I think one of the things that's the biggest change was and I think just pull up the comment from Paul again, because I would have agreed with that before this game today, and I was happy he wasn't starting because of that. But he came on. He fought for the balls. He worked hard, ran up and down the pitch in that number 8 role, which we didn't see him do much in the Enzo, right? He was just pinging the balls wide and pinging the balls. This time he was running up and alongside it to make those combinations happen. And in the challenge on Barry Bannon, had it been preseason, he would not have done that. Like we were complaining about that a bit in preseason. He went into this challenge knowing he could get hurt because they were going for it 50-50. He wins the ball, draws the foul, gets the player sent off. He forces that mistake. And that was the right attitude. That was one of the things that put me over the top of him having a phenomenal game. Because when you're that committed as well, we need to see that every game from him. Then he should start. Because if he's that committed, he's brilliant.
The 8, bang on an 8 to match his shirt number. It definitely makes up there. Now, this is a really good comment from Tyler, and I totally agree. Luke and I were talking about this in the match. Right? If Euro wants him, he'll be excellent for them. But the only question is who can do what he does at the club. Because I think the thing is that we saw when he came on is that he was controlling the game. The reason why all of a sudden it was consistent, sustained pressure, even when they had 11 men, is because of him. He was running the show, right? And Skipp showed that he couldn't do that. And there is a real possibility that come the 1st of September, Bilal El Khannouss is left and Harry Winks is left. And guys, I don't think maybe Josh Brownhill would come in, but if that's the situation that we face ourselves in, we're in big trouble because those two, Skipp can't run the game. Soumare questioned again. We did it with the rating.
Can't run the game, in my opinion, at the very least. He can do good, but not run the game.
Yeah.
He can't dictate the tempo and take that lead, you would say, right?
But at the same time, he's 29 years old. And if he's got 1 year left on his contract, right? I don't think we're giving him another one at 90 grand a week. So at the same time, if you're offered £10 million for Harry Winks, you're probably taking it, right? So,
Neil, let me ask you this then.
Yeah.
I bet you if I asked you before this, after this game, if I said to Neil, what do you think is one of the biggest, it's very limited time we've seen from Cifuentes, but one of the biggest evident thing in his build-up play is that he clearly, Cifuentes favors line-breaking passes. That's why I think Vestergaard was put in the team and Winks is the next quarterback behind him to be able to do that. That's why he was so good, because he's controlling the game, because he's pinging the ball to people. No one else can do that, in my opinion. Maybe Ricardo, but it's a bit different the way Ricardo plays. If he were to go, I think it breaks down how Cifuentes is going to want to play massively. But then I'm going to contradict myself and say, well, then why didn't he start him? So I'm not sure, mate, but I think it would be, judging off that performance and how Cifuentes likes to shape up, I would be hanging on to him for that one season.
I mean, Luke, the thing is, though, is if you remember that game, there was one set of friendlies where you played 2 games in one day. And you could see that one game had the players who didn't want to be there, and the other game had the players that did. And the game that had players that didn't want to be there featured Harry Winks, featured Wout Faes, a few others that were clearly going to go. So that's the problem, right? Maybe Marty, it's not a case of I don't want to play with you, but it's like, if you don't want to be here, I know, just put it out there, just thinking in my head, what if that's Ricardo Pereira playing in that position instead of Harry Winks?
That could work. That could definitely work.
It could work.
Yeah, but I think it's a good comment here from LCFC fan 15. Winks has the maestro quality unlock. Can't see anyone else in this team being able to do the same, not in the championship. And I agree. And I think that was that's the thing. Other people got the goals, but they're not coming without him. We'll move on. Good performance from him. All right, we're going to go to Jerry Munger first here. So you guys are both smiling. It's amazing to see it. He's been given the 28 shirt. And you know what's interesting is what does 2 + 8 equals? 10. I don't know if that is telling us something or not. But it took him a little bit of a while to get into the game. But towards the end, he was cooking, wasn't he? Go on, Doc.
I'll say I disagree because it didn't take him long to get into the game. It took him long to get the ball. As soon as he got the ball, he made the right calls. Yeah. And the thing is, he didn't take his man on that much in the beginning, but there was a reason for that because they were sitting deep. They were, 3 men on him, so he didn't do it. And I think that's fair enough because he played the smart pass instead. But as soon as the game opened more up when we got the goal, he was like, "Yeah, I'll take on my man, easily beat him." And he should have gotten an assist. That Trivela from the touchline into a perfect area for either Ayew or Daka to just finish it should have been his first assist.
Yeah. Talk to me, Luke.
Yeah, I think Duck hit the nail on the head. There's some good comments coming in here as well. He didn't get the ball as much as we would have liked, but they were already doubling and tripling up on him. And the lad's 16 years old. It's crazy. And he's skinning people. He's making people look bad. He was humiliating players down that left wing. I actually got to be honest with you. I don't want to see him in the 10 role. I think he's actually way more effective as a winger. I think he's faster. He beats his man. He's good on the ball as well. I'm not saying that he wouldn't be good as a 10. I think he'd be a monster. I just think that he's more effective out wide as a wing than he is as a 10. Not that we've seen enough of it, but for now, I want to see him start next week. I want to see him get 60 minutes. Yeah,
it feels like it, doesn't it? Because first half, we had all the attacks down the right-hand side. And I thought that in the second half, and maybe it's a result of Casey McAteer coming on as well, but all of a sudden, all the attacks were going down the left-hand side. And it's like, well, could you imagine if all the attacks went down the left and the right-hand side? Then probably the middle's going to look better. So anyway, Jeremy Monga, he only got a 6.5, which I think is very harsh. I think that's at least a bit one. I would give him the 7.5 personally. I was impressed with him. He looks.
I'm so happy he signed. Now we're not sitting here like he's so good. Don't take him. We know we've got him for at least a year more, right? Oh, yeah. This will be fun.
All right, let's talk about the real talking point. I'm sorry I've waited for you so long. Wow, Faes. The fact that rather than celebrate with fans, Faes chooses to show his contempt is the perfect measure of the man and his character, or lack thereof. Can't disagree with you, damn bit there. But yeah, isn't it hilarious that after all of that, who is the person that ends up getting us the winner is Wout Faes. I don't know, I almost thought he was going to run up to the crowd and flip people off. He came on for a Coley, and I'll come to you, Luke, just because when Wout Faes came on, you and Locks got into a little bit of an argument as to the prediction, and you had them go take the glory. What did you say?
I said to Locks that he is going to get the header for the winner. And I said, I actually agree with this. He said, this is going to cost us the game. It's going to make us lose it. The reason why I thought that he would do a job is because I think Okoli was absolutely honking. And yeah, absolutely, for sure that you should make the argument that should have been Nelson to come on. I'm not disagreeing with that. But what I did see was what I called out earlier was that Vestergaard and Winks were comfortable playing with one another. They are used to playing the championship and they have that confidence playing the league below. You mentioned the disparity between the quality between the two leagues is getting bigger every season. But they're going into that with that confidence. And then also on top of that, like I mentioned, they've played together. And then he played. That's probably why as well you could mention that Monga got a bit more involved because we're going down the right-hand side way too much. Wout Faes is known for putting those crosses diagonally into the left-hand side. They used to get Mavididi into the ball a lot last time in the championship. I'm in favor of it just because I think that he is, as Locke said, the Virgil van Dijk of the championship. I know he's watching in the background creasing right now. So for me, Wout Faes was really good when he came on. I know I don't like you could say, oh, he was a dick, he's a douchebag, but fuck it. I'll do the same thing. If I'm in a foreign country and people are slagging me off the second and booing me when I come on and I'm going to score the winner of a header, I'm going to give it large as well, man. Fuck it. Like, put yourself in his shoes. What would you do if you're getting booed and then you score the winner? I would do the same thing.
What do you reckon,
I would not do the same thing. He could win us back over if he showed a good attitude, right? Sadly, though, he is the Paulo Maldini of the championship. Like last time as well, down here. At points throughout the season with Enzo, Like, he just ran through the entire defense and almost got goals, right? Like, we know he's top class championship level. Fix the attitude a bit. Maybe we I think one of the parties have to be the bigger man. Either the crowd stops booing him, and he should and then he should show the recognition of that and start, celebrating properly when we win. Or if this is the mentality, he should fuck right off, because I don't care if you're this good. You should fuck right off if that's the mentality you bring to training and the care you bring, because that's not the environment this club should have. So he was good today, very good today. But
he's one of those, if he's a football manager, he'll cause friction in the squad. And
yeah, exactly.
His ratings individually are quite good, but you're not sure about him. But anyway, he was great when he came on. You've got to say
he was great today.
We know that at this level, he will be one of the best centre-backs in the league. But the problem is that, is it time to move on? He clearly doesn't want to be here. But the thing with Wout Faes, what he's got to accept is there's a reason why that bid hasn't come in, right? Because all the other players, if you're good, that bid is going to come in eventually, and people don't want you. So something to bring in mind there, Wout Faes. All right, let's just get through the last two quickly. Then we've got Casey McAteer. Came on. I think he came on, but trying to see what time he actually came on the game. 78th minute. Came on for Fatawu. What did you make of him?
I'll go Fatawu. I can say that he's not Fatawu. I think that's the biggest downfall of him, because he does a lot of things right. He has the drive, he has the willingness, but he's just not Fatawu. Like, he can't beat his man as easily. He's not as quick that quick on his feet. I would just love to see him in that left back position. I think that would suit him. But yeah.
I can see this is the new propaganda for this season is Casey McAteer as left back. That's get used to it. Have a drink every time Duck says that in the stream. We're gonna hear that a lot.
If that happens throughout the season, though, I'll be asking you all to bend a knee and eat ghost peppers. Like,
the reason, Luke, why he wants to see him in that position is because, and it's a fair point, is that the way that we play is that inverting into the number 8 positions. So really, they're actually playing attacking midfielder in the attacking phase, and he's saying that could be a good position for McAteer to play. Because let me ask you then, he's come on then as a winger. What did you make of him when he came on for Abdul?
Very average, unfortunately. McAteer, I think Duck hit the nail on the head. He can't beat his man. He hasn't got that quality. Sometimes it's good at putting the fucking laces through it and putting the back of the net, but he doesn't do it enough. He was good before he got injured last time in the championship. As a left back, if you're talking about inverting into the 8 role and stuff like that, I don't think he has the ball quality to be able to do it and string a pass together and make an overlapping run after he dishes it out. He's an engine, don't get me wrong. I'm going to say something kind of controversial here. A lot of people, I don't agree with this, by the way, but a lot of people thought Keenan Dewsbury was way too good for the championship, but not good enough for the Premier League. I feel like that with McAteer if he was going to be in League One. I think he'd be an absolute monster in League One. And in championship, he's kind of, an all right player. I like McAteer, and I'm probably going to eat my words for that. But yeah, I think 5 is fair. I just don't think he has enough quality on the ball, unfortunately. And if you're a winger, you need to beat your man, and he can't do that.
At least
it's like he's still trying to find his position. Gone, Duck. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it is just sad for him, because he comes on after Fatawu, who does it top level. Like, he wasn't there, right? That's the 5 rating is fair. But he just looks worse when I've seen a guy beat his man for fun for 80 minutes. Like, yeah, where, Monge, he has it a bit easy because Mavididi has his on and off games. And yeah.
I agree.
He's not a Monge.
Doesn't suit low blocks, but if it's a more open game,
we can get a bit of
that's a good comment.
Right? Yeah, like, win the ball, play a few passes, and he sprints and gets a shot off, because powerful shot can definitely get goals in this league. Yeah.
Richie K, Pixar, it didn't happen. Put that on Twitter if you haven't already, and send me a link. He got a picture of Ricky P, and that's what's worth going.
Good to see him showing up, Ricky, when he's injured. Saw Steve Borsier in a video about the club as well. Good to see the youngsters involved, even if they aren't in the squad, to be a part of the team, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right, Patson Daka, he almost scored with a good header. Other than that, he sort of huffed and puffed. Didn't really have too much time to show it. Now, interestingly, he came on Patson Daka alongside Jordan Ayew, right? So because they went down to 10 men, I don't think we'll ever see that again unless another team goes down to 10 men. But again, I think that was really good from Cifuentes. He did it immediately. As soon as they went down, he put on the 2 strikers. What did you make of Patson Daka? I'll start with you, Luke.
Decent header to get on target, because we know how low his ceiling is with his on-target fucking abilities. We all want to remember the Leeds game. I was calling for him to come on only just because of the way Cifuentes comes on. The problem is that, if you're going to play that false 9 role, which Cifuentes clearly did of Ayew, you need to have pace. And Daka has pace, but he doesn't have brain. He doesn't have football smarts. And most of his pace is used chasing people around like a headless chicken. Yeah, exactly. So I'll give him credit. Like, yeah, fair enough. I should be celebrating someone getting a header on target. And it was a good save, to be fair. I think 5 is a bit generous. He didn't get much of the ball, but yeah.
0 donkey moments today, though. Like zero of these where I did, that's Patson Daka with a heavy touch falling over the ball or something. Where you think actually Mavididi had a few Daka moments, right? Where the ball came to him on the edge of the air and he just kicked the air instead of kicking the ball. I thought the header was all right. That was a good reaction save because it's hard. Yeah. It hits the ground, so bounces a bit as well. Like that could easily be a goal if it's a worse keeper because, that was a pretty decent chance. And I thought he did good for Patson Daka. It was one of his better performances from the bench. But that also just talks a bit about his level because I do think the 5 rating is, pretty fair. Maybe I give him a 6.
Do you know what it is? And the only half funny is Duck because he's hit the nail on the head. You mentioned earlier, Duck, that it's a low score for a Bilal because we have such high standards. We have such low standards of Patson Daka that that's why we're being polite with him. It's like, you had no donkey moments. I fucking love it.
It's about the standard we set for different players, right? Because I think the fan base, for the most part, has a pretty good idea of who's our better players. There is someone in them, Thomas, getting praised a bit too much. Some Ayew hate now is completely overforced as well. I've seen Jack Whitman on Twitter complain about him all day when he was one of the best players we had on the pitch, especially in that second half. And put Rexy in that as well. Rexy saying that Ayew isn't working for it. That's the biggest lie. You can talk a lot about his pace and a lot of his other qualities. Maybe he shouldn't be in set pieces, but saying Ayew doesn't work for it, that's just straight up false. And
he was really. We said it before. Ayew was really good today, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought Ayew was great today.
Yeah. Someone asked, what was the system when Daka replaced Justin? So instead of being a 4-3-3, it was basically a 3-3-4, right? So you got 2 strikers and 2 wingers. So that's what you do. It's actually classic. What happens if the man gets sent off? What do you do? That's how you respond immediately. So, all right, guys, just to wrap it up, here's some interesting ones. There you go. League table. We're in 4th position as it stands. That's actually where I think we will finish the end of the season.
We'll finish first.
Playoffs. But do you know what? To be fair, that's already 3 points ahead of Ipswich Town and Birmingham, who are probably going to be up there. We're going to get deducted points. So, look, I think we can all say we were not at our best today, but we've got the points. And it's a grind. In this division, it's all about just grinding out those performances as much as possible. We've ground out some... It's a bit like Southampton yesterday as well, right? They could have lost that game to Wrexham, but in the end, they won it. And they had 10 men as well. So interesting to see. As for the fixtures, here they are. So we've actually got a game. Here's the thing. They come pretty thick and fast now, right? Already this month alone, we're going to have another 4 more games. So we've got Huddersfield in the Carabao Cup on Wednesday. I mean, it doesn't really matter if we win or lose, but we'll probably be doing a watch along for that. Have a look. But then we've got Preston away next week. They had to draw their first game, but, some people are doubting them. Followed by Charlton. And then look at that. To end the month, we've got Leicester City against Birmingham. Now, that one will be an interesting, I think, when we get to that one.
Easy.
Yeah. But what do you make of these fixtures, guys? They're taking a look at them. And where do you think we're going to finish in the Championship now? And just give me your overall context on today, the first game of the new season. Let's go you, Luke.
Huddersfield, let's just see what the kids can do. I'm not really fussed on the EFL Cup, to be honest with you. Preston, Everson is their goalkeeper now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he is. Got an assist this weekend. More assists than Mavididi and Ayew and Fatawu.
I'm looking forward to Birmingham to see what they can do with a lot of the good signings they had. Like Furuhashi is an absolute monster of a signing. He's probably at the end of his career, kind of like Winks. I think he's 29, Furuhashi, or 30. He's an absolute monster. He was a beast.
He looked excellent, Luke. He looked excellent for them. I've got to say,
he was really. He's probably going to want to be one of the best players in the league. I would put him to probably have the most score involvements.
Yeah,
this season he's probably going to want to be top 3 score involvements in the Championship. He's very good for this league. So let's see if Birmingham can do. Oxford, let's see how they can do. Coventry, I can't wait to fucking bend them over and fucking spank the shit out of them in front of everyone at home. I can't wait for that. Touch wood. I'll probably just give it the kiss of death. You can blame me. But yeah, man, let's see what we can do. It's a lot of games though coming up, so they're coming thick and fast, as you said.
Yeah.
Doug, what do you think?
I think it's good we get some of these easy fixtures, though, but they can also be grind, right? And away at Preston, they can sit deep, they can play on the counter. I think our next 3 games will be a lot of that, where we'll be dominant on the ball, 75% possession, maybe some frustration because the technical ability in these small areas aren't there. But I'm really looking forward to the games against Birmingham and Coventry. Birmingham, because they are a good team. I think we are a better team than them. but the game will be open because they'll be there to go for it.
Yeah.
And that means the individual quality from players from both sides, like for Furuhashi, but also from Fatawu and Mavididi, will really come into play. And I do
it's
think
like that
we will win
Southampton
that.
game early last season as well, isn't it? Where the first time someone opened up against us, there's a lot of goals.
And I'll say, I think the games that'll be the easiest are the games like, let's say, Coventry. These teams where they feel like they're good enough to play up against us, but we just have 5 times better players. So the game will be open. And if our players are on it, we should win that game every day. I think, so I'm looking forward to that, of course. We'll win the M69 derby pretty easily, I reckon. But Birmingham will be a big, big game. I'm excited for it. And I think that's because that'll be the first open game, right? Where the quality from both teams will be shining through and the individuals can make all the difference.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, that's been an hour. So let's end it there, everyone. First game of the season. It's ended with a win 2-1 to Leicester City. 45 more of those to go, plus the cup games. It's good to be back. Take care. This has been Blue Tinted Glasses, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Massive thank you to today's sponsor, Match Bingo. Over 200 grand has been paid out to players so far by taking sports betting, football and bingo and combining them into one amazing app. Make sure to get your bingo card for any Leicester City game in the upcoming season. Click that link in the description or via the QR code on screen.